want to have a chance to pick up for themselves, you got to figure Vox is going to be something that's hotly contested as well, because that is one of the best heroes for Mercedes, assuming that's who is starting for them.
Yeah, Mercedes definitely shines on that Vox, and Fnatic is going to go ahead and take that away. And we saw Techno play a very capable Vox. So we know Mercedes likes to play Gwen, etc., not as much as the weapon power melee heroes. So are we going to see an Idris come out from the side of Supremacy here? Because that's something that we have not seen Mercedes play as often or as well. I think here, a good pick here, but most likely they do prefer like a Lance on Hell's Devil normally, but they could go for an Arden pick. I don't know if they'll go for a Lyra pick, because Vox with Poison Shift is a good counter pick into Lyra.
I was about to say, there's also the conversation of Baron. It made it through the first bans, and also Grumpjaw made it through the bans, but now onto the second set of bans. I feel like we don't need to talk much about the Baron pick. This is just an exceptionally strong pick.
Yeah, I do want to make comment. I like that they're picking Baron first, though. That's something that NA tends to do. The EU always likes to first pick that Arden or that Captain normally, and not pick that Baron right off the bat. So I do like that this first Baron pick here, and I want to see Mercedes on this Baron, because I don't think we've seen that before. The Baptiste ban is a really solid ban here. I think with Arden is something that Supremacy plays a lot of, so Arden makes a lot of sense to ban away from Supremacy here.
Lyra's made it through, though, into this second round. We could easily see Supremacy pick up a Lyra.
They should pick up
Baron.
Lyra here. Lyra Baron is an extremely strong combination that we see TSM run very often in NA here.
Well, I do want to go back to the Vox and Baron pickups just real quick, just because I think that is really smart from Supremacy. That, you know, they haven't really played this Baron pick, and Vox has been the major pick for them. So the fact that they recognize that, okay, Fnatic's trying to put Mercedes on an uncomfortable hero, so let's go ahead and grab the Baron before we go for the Captain that many European teams do first. I think that's actually a really smart adaptation that they were able to make.
I like this Lance pick. They like Hell's Devil, but Lyra's open. You're going to give Lyra to Vox, and Lyra is really good into Baron because of that portal engage, and that Bulwark can disable Baron. If the Bulwark is up, Lance can't root if he roots into the Bulwark, it'll stop him, like how it stops an Arden Vanguard. So I'm not a big fan of the Lance pick. I know they love Hell's Devil on Lance, but he's been shown to be inconsistent on Lance, so he needs to perform very well at a high level in terms of mechanics to really carry his team here. So Black Feather will be picked with CP, and then Lyra will be picked here most likely. Oh, they're going to go with a Captain Grumpjaw, so very aggressive combination, but risky into a Lance, because Lance is really good at disengaging a Grumpjaw.
Yeah, interesting to see that Lyra isn't actually going to make it through. You can see Lyra's statistics on that, over 50% win and pick rate, and not going to be grabbed on in this draft. We'll see how the Lance is going to. I mean,
a jungle
we
Lance.
We could see a weapon power Lance, but you know, with a Baron on the side, it seems unlikely that you want to run double weapon power with one of them being Lance. It is going to be a Scarf picked up. We've seen this a lot.
I was going to say Scarf, because Agni has played Scarf before, and they have played Scarf. And we know that Scarf EU likes playing Scarf into Grumpjaw. Yeah,
it's been one of the stronger counters to the Grumpjaw. Scarf and Kestrel are really the two that you want to pick up into the Grumpjaw in order to deal with this. I think Supremacy actually has a very, very solid draft here.
Yeah, I have to say I'm very impressed by the Supremacy draft. What are our thoughts then on the win conditions for these two teams? What is Fnatic going to have to do to try and shut down this Baron?
Well, Fnatic needs to, once they get level 6, Grumpjaw needs to eat Lance, and they need to dive onto Baron or Scarf. However, Scarf and Baron both do AoE damage, so it's going to be a little risky to dive both. They have a stronger early game with that Grumpjaw, so they need to win the early game and snowball. If the Supremacy gets to late game, Supremacy is going to win hands down, but Scarf and Baron are just monsters late game.
That gives me a little bit of worry for Fnatic, because one of our biggest conversations has been they need to be more proactive. They need to be aggressive and make things happen, which, you know, that's been a weakness of theirs. This composition definitely lends to that.
But they started to turn that around yesterday. They at least showed us yesterday that they can play this very aggressive early game style. And if they bring that out again here in this matchup, they should be able to win. They should be able to completely shut down that Scarf.
All right, so before the series begins then, I'm going to ask you guys for your predictions. Do you think Supremacy can take this with the draft, with the Baron on their side, or do we think Palmatori's Blackfeather and the rest of the Fnatic squad can take the lead on this?
I really like Baron. I really like Lance on Hell's Devil. I think I'm going to give this game to Supremacy.
I'm going to go Supremacy as well, because if all Fnatic can win the early game, they haven't really convinced me that they can close it out.
All right, well, we'll see whether Supremacy are going to be able to go for that one. Fnatic definitely have their work cut out. We've been talking about them becoming more proactive, making things happen in these games, and we'll see whether that's something that they can bring to pass. We saw the Black Feather yesterday for Palmatoro. That was when they were proactive. That was when they were making things happen, and we'll see whether they can replicate that today. Just before we jump on into this game, we are just waiting on one of the players quickly. I'm going to ask you guys a little bit more. What is it then that... I nearly said Rising Lotus, that Supremacy, what can Supremacy do to make sure that they get to this late game? How do they shut down the Fnatic early aggression here?
Have tight rotations, don't get caught out. Hellsdevil tends to get caught out. He needs to play really well here. He needs to rotate to make sure they don't lose jungle and don't lose an early turret.
Okay.
It's just going to be using that Lance to try and dissuade early aggression, but if they do make heavy invades with 2 or 3 members on Fnatic, leave the jungle. Don't go for those early game fights when you're not going to win them.
All right, so back out when it's happening. Make sure
Cut your losses.
Yeah, cut the bleeding. Stop the bleeding before it's too late. We'll see if they're going to be able to bring that to pass. It's time to head on into this one. Let us know who you're supporting. Hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know if you're a Supremacy or a Fnatic supporter. But with that, it's time to jump on into our first match of the day.
It's time for Fnatic vs Supremacy in our first semifinals of the day and the last day of casting, potentially for a while, for Shingle Bells. Jenny, how you doing?
I'm good. It's a bit of a sad day today, actually, because of this, but I think it's going to be a good one as well.
I think it's going to be a great day. We're starting off with a very fun matchup here. A couple power picks on the board slipping through the draft. Grumjaw, Baron? I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm asking that myself as well. I feel like we've really got some people in their comfort picks. We do have that Baron that is typically very difficult to combat. I think we did see that Alpha coming out against the Baron yesterday. That just did not work out as well. But having Techno JJ on that Vox, I think that is just one of his long-time favorite heroes. And right now, we're seeing Netwell and Agonina 1v1.
Yeah, they're playing some games right now. I do love the... We have a pause. I love
that too.
The Scarf into Grumjaw. Eventually, will be very strong. Net can struggle. Not Net, but the Grumjaw pick can struggle. But yeah, I mean, Techno. You mentioned Techno JJ on the Vox. This is one of Techno JJ's all-time favorite comfort picks. I mean, this is a hero he always seems to perform on.
Definitely. I think it's like heroes like Ringo, heroes like Vox as well. And I think Vox has been one that we've been seeing a lot coming out from him over the past few seasons, just because he's been a bit more meta. His mechanical skill is very, very strong. And I think that's been a bit difficult for the Baron and the Scarf to try and land their Porcupine Mortars and the Spitfires onto him. We're going to the point where you're saying about the Scarf and Grumjaw matchup. The moment that Netwell hits that level 6 and has that stuffed ability, I think we'll just be anticipating he'll be going for Merciless or Agony every single time. Just getting that block just going to be absolutely imperative there for Supremacy.
I feel like... yeah, we might have some connection issues we're working on right now, but I feel like it's going to be very hard for Net's Grumjaw to get on target, onto the Baron, onto that Scarf. Once we get past the early game, like once we get into like the mid into the late game, it feels like it's going to be really tough for him to get in position.
Yeah, I think Hell's Devil's going to have a lot to do with that. As that lands, your ability, you're there to peel for your teammates, and who better to do that than a Lance who can use his Githian wall to knock that Grumjaw back. It just depends on whether or not, because you do have two potential heroes with that with the Black Feather and with the Grumjaw who can dive onto the members of Supremacy. So it just depends on what you're holding that Githian wall for.
And we'll have to keep our eyes on, of course, Palmatoro looking to take these guys down with some big empowered on points there. The CP Blackfeather is not something you want to mess with. Net playing games with Hell's Devil in his jungle. Looks like Hell's Devil thinking about porting back. Nah, he's just going to hang out. A Scarf making his way back out from the base, while Merciless and Techno will just go ahead and continue to farm. I do like that Merciless picked up the Light Shield early on. I think it's a nice pickup against the Vox.
It is a nice pickup against the Vox as well. I think it's necessary. We're seeing Hell's Devil and Merciless up in both of them up in lane there, and I think it actually certainly to anticipate that Palmatoro, who's got that Crystal Black Feather, he's got a considerable range there on that on point that Merciless is going to be careful of, especially because he's only just got the jump jets. He doesn't always have that easy escape straight away. Right now we see Net Twilight heading up to lane there, potentially a gank coming up there from Merciless.
Give me that Grumpy. There it is. Net gives him that Grumpy. A little hangry. Merciless will go ahead and jump jets backwards. not the ideal jump jet situation for a Baron, but Net making the plays, setting the tempo. He is on the opposite side of Hell's Devil and Agony as he makes his way down, just kind of being a nuisance at this point. Vein of Heart into the on point. Hell's Devil hits him with that Githyan Wall, very nicely played. Should be enough to get Net and Palmatoro out of their jungle, I'd assume. Impale into the Spitfire, a couple attacks, they ignite the Goop, moving forward, Agony.
Oh.
That's his boots used, the Net should get out of this one. Palmatoro buying just enough time for his ally.
Just enough time. I think that's a good example of the Scarf Grumpjaw matchup there. It's easy for him to land those Fan the Flame heroic perk there onto him. Palmatoro's going to escape this one, I think.
Palmatoro
No, he's not.
will be going down. There you go. This is Agony. Dude, you know what? I feel like Supremacy. When they want to win, they're just like, we'll give the scarf to Agony. All right, it's time to win. Let's go.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Supremacy, they've not had the best past few weeks there in the Vainglory 8, to be honest. I think they've just really been waiting, trying to get that opportunity there. I think they won yesterday against Avalanche on the off-stream matches. So, yeah, I think Agony on that scarf, again, one of the comfort picks. So this is just a bit of an odd composition coming out from both of the teams, is that we do have this mix of like comfort picks for a lot of the players, and then we also do have these power picks, such as Grumpjaw and Baron that's been picked up as well, which is a kind of a terrifying combination that's coming out here for both of the teams.
Terrifying indeed, but nothing quite as terrifying as the fact that Treants never seem to just permanently die in Europe. They just keep coming back and rooting you right in the middle of a team fight, taking your team down 2-0. Tetno! He is stunned up, jumps jets forward, Mercilli's almost taking him down, but Net and Palmatoro around the backside. Drawn to Mercilli's, Net's there, he's hangry, he's grumpy, he's trying to get on target. Mercilli's, what are you thinking? Mercilli's, get out of here, Mercilli's! That's not where you want to be! His corpse will jump jet away, Hell's Devil, finding the impale and the damage with the help of Agony. Agony with the pretty safe positioning there. I gotta wonder, Supremacy, what were you thinking?
Well, what they were thinking was good. They had the gank there onto Techno JJ. They had the perfect lineup there. They have this a lot of range, a lot of damage there from Mercilli's and Agony there. I think what they weren't expecting was the flank there coming out from Palmatoro and Nettoilette, and it was perfect positioning for Palmatoro there because all three members of Supremacy were clumped up, so the on point just hit every single member there. It was very, very dangerous. Not everyone was going to escape, and Mercilli's was not able to. He is able to escape this time, thanks to his jump jets. But that's something that they're going to have to be cautious of, because with the combination of this Baron and Scarf, they've got such an impressive range for both the carries there, that they really don't have to always be putting themselves at such risk like they did in that situation. You've got this Goop, you've got the slow coming out from the Porcupine Mortars as well. I feel like we'll be seeing a lot more of the effects as we get into the late game, where the skills do begin to scale up a lot better. And perhaps when Agony picks up the Frostburn first, I think that might not be a bad item to go for.
What item? I'm sorry, I didn't.
I'm sorry, Frostburn.
Oh, Frostburn. Yeah. We'll see if he decides to go into that. I mean, the thing I think for Supremacy is just, Mercilli's got to remember, hey, you may be doing all right now, but you don't have to force a fight. You're Baron. You just farm.
Yeah, you
Get
just
a couple
farm.
items and then kill people.
Keep it passive. Keep it very, very passive, and then you can start one-hitting people later on. Like if you get the opportunity to get to that as a Baron, it's going to be very, very difficult, because then you'll have to see a lot of target focus coming out. It forces all this target focus coming out from Fnatic here.
All right, well, Mercilli's is back. He's going to be picking up a Sorrow Blade. Sounds pretty good. Agony going into that Frostburn first, and we'll see what he decides to go next. Does have components that could lend themselves towards an Eve of Harvest, but you never know if he'll pivot towards something like a Broken Myth. Right now, Fnatic as 3. They're going to be flared out by Supremacy. Hell's Devil having none of their shenanigans at this point. Nettoilette only level 4. He does need some more experience. They have a nice Impale following it up with the Ignited Goop there. You can see they're very comfortable landing those combinations.
Extremely comfortable, and they're focusing a lot onto Nettoilette right now. Every time we're seeing the Impale, Hell's Devil's landing that Impale onto Nettoilette, who is probably the easiest target. Hell's Devil might not escape this time, actually.
Woo! Spitfire and a Scout Trap right there. That's a good amount of damage.
There's a very good amount of damage there. They've all had to. Palmatoro's had to go lick his wounds, get that Treant as well. So I think we're at the kind of impasse here between the two teams, and we see this a lot. I think we saw a lot of this yesterday, where the teams were just biding their time. They went for very typically late game compositions. They just knew that, and they just kind of waited for that moment to hit. And I feel with this Grumpjaw as well, they are just really waiting for that level 6. So that's like the greatest crowd control that they can have. Agony and Mercedes, neither of them have that reflex block, so it's so easy to isolate that target if they can dodge the Githian wall coming out from Hell's Devil.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of at this point where you start to think, like, what are the ultimates going to bring to the table? You're like, Hell's Devil? You can roll now! Grumpjaw, Netwilette, it's like, oh, I can eat somebody and completely reposition them. That's pretty good.
That's a very good one. And
there he is, moving forward. Level 5. Just trying to psych Mercedes out. Mercedes is like, oh, wait. You're not a level 6 Grumpjaw. What are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like Mercedes, he's sitting on a lot of gold. We're seeing a lot of pressure coming from Fnatic right now, so Mercedes is just trying to get his farm as well, but he's sitting on, what, almost 1,500 gold now? That's a lot of farm. If he just goes into the shop, I think, otherwise, if Fnatic force a fight, he's in an awkward position here.
Techno's farming like a monster. On point's gonna land, Faint of Heart moving forward. Mercedes has got to get back. Jump Jets, Palmator moving in. With the help of Hell's Devil, they will be able to bail their ally out. This Hell's Devil still holding his fountain. I imagine Agony will be rotating up into the lane as Fnatic start to apply pressure. On point lands on the Hell's Devil. Techno still farming. I want to mention 100 last hits, about 8.5 minutes in. Techno having a fantastic time.
That is Techno JJ though on Vox. This is his Vox. He's so good at farming. I think every time we've seen it, he's consistently just outperforming that kind of recommended 10 CS per minute guide there. Like and especially with the Baron as well. I think the Vox versus Baron matchup in terms of farming, it might be a little bit easier for that Vox as well. We've been seeing Fnatic applying a lot of pressure in the lane here onto Supremacy, so I think that also explains part of it. But despite the 10 CS advantage there going towards Techno JJ, the gold is actually identical on both of the teams here.
Yeah, it is incredibly even. 9 minutes in, we have 3 kills on the board. I gotta say, yesterday Europe was very quiet, very methodical in their approaches to winning games. I mean, we had a couple games go like almost 10 minutes with like 1 kill or no kills.
Yeah, it was all about the macro play, as the analyst desk said later on. I think that was an extremely true statement.
Is that what they said? I did not listen to their analyst.
I'm going to tell him he said that. Let's see how they did. This is a bit of a dangerous situation. I think for Supremacy here, the ideal playing ground for them is to be in the lane. With this Baron or with this Scarf there, it's so easy for them to be landing those mortars and those Spitfires onto the members of Fnatic. You know, it's a narrow channel. Whereas in the jungle, it gives Fnatic so much more room to maneuver, especially with heroes such as Black Breath and Vox. There's a lot more mobility there that they can really use to punish Supremacy here. So I think Supremacy, they're making the right move, they're staying in the lane as often as they can. And this is, to be honest, is what they need to avoid those missteps.
Ooh, Mercedes just on the edge of getting hit by these on points. To see Palmator using max range. There's gonna be the stuff. His net. He's found himself a little dragon. Gonna pull him back under the turret in Agony, getting chopped down. But Baron's there with a couple of basics. Can't find enough damage to get a kill on point. Mercedes slaps him back. One of those big basics. Netwilette's hanging out. He's gonna move forward. He's grumpy, hangry, and the mortars will be able to slow him down. A couple attacks coming out. Netwilette getting low, but you can tell he's not really feeling threatened too much at this point. Well, Techno just continues to farm.
That is Techno. Merciless, he too is also going to continue to farm. He's got the Tension Bow, he's got the Sorrow Blade, and I think going back to that last fight where the last fight where we did see the Scarf being picked off by the Stuff, that was anticipated. Scarf is probably the easiest target. He does not have an escape such as the jump jets that Mercedes does. So going for Scarf, putting him under the tower, we saw how quickly he was able to be shot down now. So he's prioritizing that reflex block after that unfortunate kill.
Yeah, he's got that reflex now. And that was a huge pickup. I was actually really surprised that Net was able to weave in there and make that play happen. But I'm not kidding around when I hold Net in actually very high regard. I think he's one of the best captains in the world, honestly. And he's making the play there. Fnatic trying to rally around this Captain Grumpjaw. The Spitfires continue to come out from Agony, becoming ever more powerful as the time does go on. And we do see Mercedes now with the overdriven jump jets. It's going to be much more difficult to lock this guy down.
Yeah, definitely. So when he's overdriven, he's just immune to those crowd control abilities. I think what's worrying for me right now is just that Netolite, he already has that stuffed ability available. It's already up, and I think once you it's got such a short cooldown as well for such a powerful crowd control ability, and you're not going to be able to, once you get into the late game, you're not going to be able to reflex block every single one of them. And I think if you're going to be that Scarf and you know you're going to be picked down, you'll be relying a lot on Hell's Devil as that lands for that peel, obviously. But I think you also need to be prioritizing that defense relatively on, or getting that sustain.
2-man impale. Spitfire
Netolite
lands. The group ignites. Net has to get himself back. Tetno's going to eat a Spitfire. That's starting to add up. Whoa!
Oh!
Couple attacks coming out of Mercedes there. That puts Fnatic down very low. And I could see why people pick this hero.
The Baron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
the one that almost killed 2 people with like
one mortar.
attacks. Net jumps back in though. A defensive jump jets out. Palmatoro, it's just like half his health bar. No big deal.
No big deal whatsoever. And Mercedes is doing this with 2,000 gold in his pocket. He's got plenty of gold to pick up his 3rd item. He can just go for all offensive with those jump jets. The fact that he's overdriven them, it puts him in a lot more safer position there. So actually, I think we're going to be seeing Fnatic trying to get some damage on the start, but there's no minions there. But I think, as far as we're concerned right now, Baron is beginning to reach a very comfortable point, to put it lightly, and so is that Scarf.
What if you weren't putting it lightly? How would we describe it?
It's probably not appropriate for the cast. Like,
I mean, let's be real.
like,
It's your last cast, right? Better go out swinging.
I still don't think, I'm not. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm playing it safe. I'm not gonna.
My last day, I'm gonna get fired. I'll tell you that. No, I'm just kidding. Don't fire me,
that's a good joke. That's a good joke.
Agony drops down. He's going to be able to pick up that broken myth. 13 minutes, 45 seconds into this one. And now this Scarf's going to be doing a lot of damage. Spitfire connects on the Tetno. Ignites his goop there. And now Mercedes is back out into the lane. Has Tyrant's Monocle completed here. 14 minutes in. This was a 3-item Baron. 14 minutes into this game. We're tied up 2-2. Net worth pretty even overall. But it feels like someone is about to get destroyed.
And it feels like Fnatic in these team fights. It really does. I feel like Supremacy, they've got such incredible range. They're able to poke so comfortably that Fnatic, they just really have to find the positioning and just choose one target to dive on. And right now, like I was saying before, lane's probably not the best area for it because it really puts them at such like huge vulnerabilities at either Mercedes or Agony. So it's an awkward position for Fnatic to be in. But I feel like because they have all their abilities available, and because Scarf isn't there, they maybe have the chance there with that stuffed ability.
I mean, yeah, you make good points. I think also, like, let's not be biased casters, okay? Like, we have Tetno 3 items as well. It's with the breaking point. So if they can weave in and around these fights, getting onto a key target, it's gonna stack up real fast. And we could see Tetno, potentially dancing through the fight and melting targets down if they do not get blown up early on here. Kraken has awakened. 15 minutes in here. And this is pretty much the signal. It's go time, team.
It is absolutely go time. I think Techno JJ, 181 CS to Mercedes 156. Supremacy, they're you know what? I was about to say they're looking about to engage, but they're actually pretty comfortable not engaging, just kind of poking away as they're doing there. And what we're saying about Fnatic is about them weaving. They have to maneuver about. They have this ability, and with Techno JJ and Palmasora, these are probably 2 of the players that I could say would definitely be able to do that. And I feel like if they can get on top of Agony, or Merciless actually, neither of them have much defense. If they can just pin either of them down, throw a wait for it at them, silence them, and then prevent him from using that jump jets, maybe they have a good chance of just knocking at Merciless. Just clearly, probably one of the biggest threats right now.
Oh, they definitely can. They definitely can. I think just closing the gap is going to be the problem. Is Agony, if he's on point with his Spitfires, if he's on target with these Spitfires, he's going to be building up Broken Myth stack, slowing them with his Frostburn. Net continuously getting hit as you can just throw him down this brush, down the left side. This is one of the nice things when you know that you have a straight on angle like that, or you're in a choke point. It's very easy to just throw your Spitfires out continuously. Agony doing a great job. We can see why they do pick with Scarf for him. Infusions come out for Supremacy on both the carry and the jungler. When we said that was the go signal before, this looks like a go signal for sure at this point. They are ready to fight. Tetno dropping low, about 60% of his overall health, as we're going to need Palmatoro to maybe grab an item and get back up into the lane rather quickly here.
Yeah, definitely. He's heading up to lane there. And He has a dragon heart. I think so. When we saw Technology, look, we had this kind of like glimmer of hope there for Fnatic when they looked like they were about to finally pick up their target. So we saw Technology. He picked up a few breaking point stacks relatively quickly. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get much damage there. Down on
Ooh! Hell's Devil. Let's be real. That was a pretty flashy little impale, but a very nice block.
It was very nice blocked out from Palmatoro. I feel like it's just to kind of get this feeling that Supremacy, they're beginning to look for blood now. 2 for 2 on the map, 17 minutes. Kraken's out, no turrets have been taken.
Yeah, they just need to like one-shot this turret and then kill some people. Net's gonna move in, they block all that stuff. Exactly what they need. Now they start to turn, they're gonna miss on the impale. Agony looking for the Spitfires as Merciless just looking for a target. Jump jets are available, ready to go. He's not in target for his basic. There they are. Net almost going down. Fountain comes out. On point lands on Merciless. The Fountain comes out as Supremacy as Fnatic are on the chase. They're gonna loot. Baron actually gets out. Hell's Devil probably left for dead. Fnatic finding a way to turn this. And this is one of the things, like, if you swing and you miss, they're able to do a little bit of damage. They have very high mobility. They were able to chase Supremacy down.
They were, and what happened was Techno JJ. So he has that level 12 infusion. He was building up the breaking point stacks really quickly. He got 8 there. He built all the breaking point stacks on the lands, just making sure he was steering clear of Merciless and Agony. The moment he had the 8, we saw the Fountain coming out from Net Toilette, which gave them enough for Fnatic to turn back, throw out the wait for it, and that's how they were able to pick up the kill on Merciless there. And those kind of actions, that is exactly what we've seen from Fnatic. They made the best out of the bad situation. They lost his heart, but they were able to pick up a kill there. That is everything, because Merciless, he does not have that defense. He's got the kinetic shield, so but against Techno JJ, the one with the breaking point, the one with infusions, he's got nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if Techno's able to get to, and did you see what was his max breaking point stacks he got? Not bad.
I want to say 12. Like, he started off at 8, and then I went to 12. Like on, so he was like, when he was on.
Did you see we got war treads on Techno?
I like that. Double engage.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty neat, huh? Is that is that like another way to move Grumpjaw? Like, if he grabs a target, if he's used his, I don't know.
I feel like it's a way of catching Supremacy up by surprise. So yeah, you've got one potential engage or disengage with that war treads on Net Toilette. And then if Techno JJ is still not in position, I mean, we're talking about how much mobility is going to be mobility means in this game for Fnatic. Having that extra kind of speed booster for the whole team to get them into position, especially on top of 2 such high range heroes. This is what they need. And
right. But I mean, I think it's a wonderful pickup. We may have an engage here. On point's going to connect. Sorry, I feel like I'm like almost coughing through these casts. It's pretty hard. Throat's hurting a little bit. I do apologize, team. Hell's Devil doing his best to control the right tri-brush here as Net moves forward. Techno, just a couple attacks and you see 2 breaking point stacks. 2 attacks, 2 breaking point stacks. I mean, very easy for him at this point to start building those up. Merciless does realize where Palmatoro is, and he's a little bit zoned out.
He is a little bit zoned out, and Palmatoro,
Husk.
I like it. I was about to talk about that because we were saying before, Baron, he's with 2 hits, he's just taking in either Palmatoro or Techno JJ down to about a 3rd health. So having the Sunbring Husk enables him to stay in the fight just a little bit longer.
That's really cool.
Sustain through that burst.
Yeah, it's such an interesting item, and you know, I think people starting to build it a little more effectively as time goes on. That is a great scout trap down in the shot brush on the right side, coming out of Fnatic. That Supremacy, they walked down to shop I think 2 times, did not clear that out. So a lot of value coming out of that one scout trap there.
Oh yeah, 50 gold. They're getting a lot of they're getting a lot of value for it. So now that we've lost the first turret and the lane's pushed up, this leaves Supremacy. I feel like they could take that Kraken in extremely quickly and just force that fight out. But one thing I was gonna say is, for them to fight in the jungle, it's not the best part because there's so much just area for the Black Feather and for the Vox to dance around in. That might be quite difficult for Supremacy to try and pin down a particular member.
Well, you can always fight up against these walls with the lance so they can find a stun.
Oh no.
Stop. Well, that actually is going to be able to cancel that off, and they get back. Merciless, he's got the damage coming out. Ion Cannon will just clip Fnatic on the edge. It looks like they were able to retreat. Both War Treads actually burned for the team. Palmatoro still holding onto his boots there. Fnatic still holding their fountain. And they are ready to fight should they wish as they move back out onto the map. Palmatoro will snipe off his mid. I don't think so, Supremacy.
Cheeky Palmatoro there with the cheeky little steal there. So 1.6k, 1.6k between the two teams right now. Fnatic have a very minor gold lead, despite being a tart. Well, no, they're not even tart down. They're 1.6k ahead, and I think part of this reason is TechnoJJ just out farming Mercedes in terms of CS. He's 20 ahead.
Techno's trying to get his player of the week stats on point. Net's getting lit up. He has to completely be the backline on this fight now. Hell's Devil will miss his impact. Oh my god. Palma jumps back into Mercedes. He's on target and moving forward with the boots. He's going to be able to find the kill. Actually, it's Techno credited with that one. And they're going to also lose Hell's Devil on the backside. And are you kidding me? Agony getting chased down. He's slowed and chopped down. Fnatic coming through big with the ace. And everybody's like, well, why is Techno just farming? That's why.
That is why. He was able to dodge the initial engage coming from Hell's Devil with the Impale, and I think he's been doing that consistently every single time. I've not seen TechnoJJ being stunned up by the Impale once, I think, so far in this game. And I think one thing that would be such a good item pickup for Hell's Devil would be that War Treads, because we're seeing a lot of focus there going on to Mercedes. He's not able to back away. He's used his jump just already. He doesn't have, he doesn't have the cooldown for the second. Having that War Treads just able to allow them to increase the gap between Fnatic and Mercedes would help him stay alive, because they're just focusing everything on him. And once they get Mercedes down, they take away the incredible burst damage that they have, and then it's so easy for them to focus on Agony.
It does feel like a bit of miscommunication, if I'm being completely honest. You shouldn't be grabbing someone. Net shouldn't be in position there to be landing a stuffed on anybody, really. With the scarf, like just Spitfires, and Goops, Impales, and Githian walls. And then you just let Baron wait for the opportunity to destroy someone. It's going to be Net over the wall. And as Palmatoro looks to continue landing these on-points, they're really actually hurting this fight. Double on-point landing, Kraken marching forward. Hell's Devil and the rest of Supremacy need to make a move here. What's the play going to be? Net's actually stuffed up on Hell's Devil, and they're going to move back. Mercilli's trying to find the damage. It's Agony dropping low. Fountain comes out, keeps the Scarf alive on the healing platform. They've lost their last turret. They've taken down JJ. They're probably going to get Netherlet as well. Yeah, they should. This is dropping very low. Well, they do have enough damage, especially with that Scarf. They're going to be able to kill off this Kraken here. This game coming down to the wire here for Supremacy.
Absolutely down to the wire there. Still, they're staying in there in gold, but they are 4 towers behind. They're down to the crystals, very exposed. What we need to be seeing are those scout traps being picked up by Hell's Devil, which he has done to prevent those backdoor engagements, which is possible with Palmatoro there, and even with the Grumpjaw. So they just need to push that turret. They have the time. This could be a very close game. I think they have the chance to get down 2 turrets before they can back away and just focus on taking the jungle.
Supremacy.
1 turret. I think there's a second one.
All right, let's take odds right now in the chat. Press 1 if you think Fnatic will win. Press 2 if you know Supremacy will win. What would you press, 1 or 2?
Me?
You.
I think in the team fight, I feel like Fnatic are going to win this. In terms of the team plays being executed,
Jinyi presses 1 as the team fight begins. Fnatic looking for a key target. Agony able to block off. Actually, there was a nice Crucible by Hell's Devil to block off that stuff coming out of Nettoilette. What a captain. Hell's Devil making the plays that Agony needed. Adrian going to root up Agony as he's trying to port home. That's just funny.
That is very, very funny. I think we're seeing the triple infusions coming out from everyone. Hell's Devil now has the War Chest. This is what they need. They've still been held on to. And interestingly, actually, Merciless has his own pair of War Chests now as well. So they kind of mimic what Fnatic are doing there with Techno-JJ and Nettoilette picking up the War Treads.
I think I woke up in a split reality this morning in which War Treads on everybody is now the meta, apparently. Hell's Devil with the 2-man Githian into the 2-man Impale. Light them! Eat them! You're a Baron! Moving forward to Mercillius. He's got the jump jets. He's on to Net. Net's on the front line. Techno building a couple breaking point stacks, looking to move forward. Dragon's Breath can be coming out. Big burn down. Net. Techno is on the menu. That's a double kill for the Baron, and hey, why not? But who's this? Who's this sneaky Blackfeather? Palmatoro moving in for the back door, but he will be thwarted in his attempts. His scout trap's going to be able to find him out. Oh, Crystal Sentry moving in as well. This is very interesting. Palma Throzo! Palma, what have you done? This is one of the least excellent plays I've seen you make in a while.
Theoretically, we can see exactly what he was doing, but you know, you can.
Press
Maybe-
2 now for Supremacy.
Everybody's pressing 2 now. They're changing their minds. Okay, so you're so Supremacy. They have the Kraken. They have this. They have a Scarf and a Baron who are very happy just to stay behind the Kraken and push with it.
So happy.
And Netwillet's the first one to spawn. To put it bluntly, it's not looking great for Fnatic right now. And I pressed 1, so it feels. I know what it feels like. It feels bad.
It does feel real bad, man. But, I mean, let's be real. There is still a chance to throw this one.
There's always a
Supremacy,
chance to throw.
I think they're going to play it careful, though. As they let Kraken start to march forward. Let's abuse this range on the Scarf, guys. Let's not get caught at this point. Net moves forward.
I think-
That's going to be Atlas Pauldron only applied onto the Scarf. That's not really where you want to get it. Ion Cannon comes down. Agony taking a lot of damage. Kraken still, he's onto the Vein Crystal turret. You got to do something. Fnatic,
one.
they've taken 1 down. Mercilli's going to jump jets forward, but this is Hell's Devil onto the last remaining turret. Mercilli's just zoning out
Double
Fnatic
kill.
like a monster, a beast of a Baron.
triple kill.
Their beast of burden.
Ace.
Triple kill coming through for Mercilli's in the end. What a Baron player. I haven't seen crits like that since yesterday. 11-7, Supremacy takes it in the late game.
And with that late game composition of the Baron, we saw how much Baron was able to do at the very end. A lot of critical strike there. And I feel, it kind of hurts because it feels like Fnatic were doing so well in the team fights. I feel like they had advantage every single team fight. It just felt at the end where we